Hey everyone, it's Eric Wells here with Baggies Out. I got Patrick Cloy with me and Clem Seigeot, the current world champion. He just recently won Worlds in Hungary. And so we're just going to talk about competitive ballooning and his experience with Worlds and anything else that comes up. So Clem, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure,
awesome
guys. Thanks for having me.
So we'll jump right into Worlds. So Worlds, I guess, what was the experience like as a whole? What's it like being world champion now?
Yeah, it's amazing, but I was not expecting that at all. I mean, I have been training for a while, but I never thought I would be a world champion anytime soon. So my best results in the world so far was top 6, top 10. I never done any podiums so far, so I was just expecting to do another top 10, and that was my mission when I turned up in Hungary. But after a few flights, I realized that I could definitely do something better than that. So yeah, it was really, really intense, and it's still hard to realize today because I was not expecting that at all. And yeah, I feel it just like one more competition I won, but it doesn't feel like I'm the world champion. But
Yeah,
I had a chat actually with Dom Bedford about the afterlife after being a world champion, and he told me that it took him 6 months to realize the achievement. So it's probably will be coming soon, maybe.
yeah. You wake up one morning and you're like, yeah, I am the world champion.
Yeah, like he told me that it's when you are watching some movies and all the memories come back, and then you realize where you did.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of videos and movies of me flying there, so yeah, I don't have a lot of things. So, but yeah.
Do you fly with a camera in your basket or?
Yeah, no. Well, that's the thing. I used to fly with a camera, but I always thought that the camera was the black cat. That if I have a camera, I want to reach the target.
Yep.
And then it took me. I realized it was a bit of time, and I had to think about the camera and everything. So I just decided to stop worry about it. But I really want to have one, because when I see some movies, videos, like for a few years I watch a lot of Nick Donner's videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I was young. I started competition, and I really enjoyed to watch Nick's videos, and then now Dom's videos, and like many pilots. And I think it would be a good idea to be able to share what I'm doing. So I just need to get into it. Yeah, and stop thinking that he will give me bad luck.
I'm there with you at the bad luck. Like Patrick and I have joked on numerous occasions where, like, after I fly, I'm like, man, I did great today, and I forgot my camera. So maybe I'll just keep doing that.
Yeah, I think the camera can basically make your flights a lot harder, and you miss everything, and then you forget to turn on the camera, or for whatever reason it's not on, and you make everything. So yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, but I think I should maybe ask a crew to manage it. To charge a camera, to turn it on, and set it up and everything.
Yeah.
So I think I can sort that out, and I think I will. Yeah.
Yeah. What camera were you flying with?
With a GoPro. I got the GoPro 10 because I use the camera for commercial flights. So I have one.
Okay.
I know the setup. I know everything. But just in competition, I thought, like, it would give me bad luck. I won't see any target with the camera. So I just decided not taking it.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair point. So you mentioned, like, halfway or like midway through the event, you're like, hey, I can actually make something happen. So looking at like the progression of scores, like you started in first from the very first flight, and you just held on to it like the entire time. I think it was something like a few hundred points lead, and then you increased it to 1,000 points, and you just never let go. So like, how did you maintain sort of, not let that get into your head? How did you go into each flight like, I'm in first, I can keep being in first?
Well, I always compare this competition to a Mario Kart game. Basically, I had, when you play Mario Kart, you can have the boost at the start, and this is basically what I had. I had the boost at the start, then you are in front of the pack, and then you avoid all the turtles and everything, and you just do great. And sometimes in competition, it's like Mario Kart, you do a bad start, you are in the pack, you got all the turtles and everything, and it's a bad race. So basically it's the same. And it's amazing because I think in the Worlds my average so far was around 700 points. And when I see this World Championship, it's like around 900s. And sometimes you got everything. You got the boost at the start, you got luck, you got everything. So yeah, at the beginning I had a bit of luck because we did 2 evening flights, and I had a bit of luck in the strategy, in approach as well. And but then we had this morning flight, the first one, when the fog lifted. We did, I think, 5 tasks, and I smashed them all. And this is when I had like 1,400 points gap with I think that was Thomas Philus from Poland.
Yeah.
And this is exactly when I realized, well, something's going to happen, because looking at the weather, I will have maximum 2 more flights and not much task. So with 1,400 points ahead, I can definitely do something. And then the French team helped me. They released the pressure by taking off in front of me. They gave me as much information as I needed, and then that was good enough. But basically, the turning point was that morning flight when we had like 5 tasks and I nailed them all. And but just the 2 first flight, I had a bit of luck. It's evening flight. Usually you can do 500 points average or 900 points average. It's a bit of luck. The wind is changing, but yeah, I had bad luck that I didn't have for a while. And then this amazing morning flight, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It seemed like the evening flights there in Hungary, the later you waited, the better steering came in. Like there was almost one of those flights, I think it might have been the first evening, where there was like 180-degree wind shift on the surface.
Yep.
And a lot of pilots missed that target. I think it was a Gordon Bennett, and then that wind shift kicked in, and then they were able to crawl back. So I think that was cool.
Yeah, I remember, but I took off like in the 10 first balloons, so I took off early. But the thing is, we had this town just above the 2 kilometers minimum distance to take off from the Gordon Bennett, and you had a few fields. So let's say like third of the pack took off from before that town, and all the others took off from the other side, and it was like way further away. It was like maybe 3-4 kilometers away, and we took off like at 2 kilometers something, and I could reach the Gordon Bennett before the wind shifted. So it was good for me. I had the steerage, I had everything. And then it was difficult for all the others that took off from the other side of the town, because they were like 20 minutes away and the wind shifted and everything. So that was hard for them. And I remember I had this wind shift when I was approaching the second target. I think it was a hesitation valve. And I saw the first balloon going down, reversing, and I was like, oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Like there is a shift happening. So what I did, I just dropped down and fly back, because I didn't know the steerage at this time. So I just decided to fly back. I said, we can use the upper wind as well. Let's go back. And I was on the wrong side of the target as well. Like when we were descending, you were going left and I needed right. So I was like, I need to fly back and see what's going on. So I flew back all the way back over the Gordon Bennett.
Oh,
I flew all
jeez.
the way. So I reversed and I was at the back of the pack. But then I climbed up. I used the upper wind, and the steerage was there. It was good, and I could nail the agitation volts, and then I could nail my it was, I think, PDG, pilot declare goal. But I had luck as well because I took off quite early, like close from the Gordon Bennett. The wind shifted after I did the Gordon Bennett, and yeah, bit of luck on that one.
For sure.
What do you do to prepare for a world event? And did you do anything different this time?
No. So yeah, I thought about it, and I always do the same. I'm trying to do 3 or 4 competition a year to just keep myself in shape. So basically, I do the French nationals. I do either the Europeans Championship or the World Championship, and then I'm trying to do another national somewhere in Europe. So this year it was in Switzerland, Swiss nationals, and I did another event in France, Cube Europe. It's quite good. So I do 3 or 4 events a year, and that's it. I don't do anything different. I know that the fatigue is the key, because a world event you will do, it's minimum 5 days, minimum 10 flights if the weather is good. So you need to arrive like well rested. So I think I slept all the way. We drove like 2 days to Hungary from France, and I think I slept all the time because I knew I needed that to be to be ready for a world event. But no, I don't do anything different. I don't do anything different for a world championship, but the French nationals or any other events, I just I just do the same every time.
Fly the tests, do everything in the same pattern, so it's always the same.
Yeah. I have my routine, but doing 4 events a year, I mean, I even don't need to get myself ready. I know to do this. I see a task, that's a shit. I even don't look at the rules or whatever. I exactly know what the director is expecting us to do. It's very quick and easy for me to get the flight ready. So that's the key. Practice is the key. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned like whenever you see the task sheet and going through that, like what's that process like for you? So task sheet goes live. What from then to launch, like what are you doing?
So basically 95% of the time I don't declare anything during my flight. Everything is done before I take off.
Yeah.
And with my experience, I think I'm pretty good at flight planning. And so I check the forecast, that is the task. We have a flyer to declare, whatever 3D task, pilot declare goal. And I get ready everything before I take off. So everything is declared, everything is in my computer, and I just fly the plan.
Yep.
And 95% of the time, I don't have to redeclare anything. And that it avoids me a lot of stress in a basket. Particularly I'm flying solo. You need to redeclare things. You need to check the minimum distance and things like that. Yeah, like you have a lot of chance to do a mistake and having a no result. So basically, I just declare everything, and I think at the Worlds I just redeclared only 1 task during the event, and I just move I just move a flyer on the kilometers further north to have a bit more distance to use it, but. Yeah,
move around and get in better position and everything.
Yeah, but basically during the Worlds I never redeclared anything, only once. So so that was quite good. Now we have the wind sound, we know exactly what the balloon will do and everything. So if you need to do something, it's really small adjustments, and that's good enough.
Nice. So You worked a lot with Kubitschek to design your current balloon. What were some of the choices that you made that you really wanted? Is there anything that you'd change now? Let's talk a little bit about your balloon.
Yeah, well, it's a long story. So I have been flying Kubitschek for 12 years now, and I started with a 70 racer because I was flying with co-pilots. And then I didn't have a co-pilot anymore, and I have to fly solo in a 70. That was really painful. So I jumped in a 60 racer, the 60 Kubitschek racer, and it was still too big. I realized, when you want to descend quite quick, the reactivity was not really perfect, and I knew that the balloon was too big, but at this time I couldn't get anything smaller from Kubitschek. That was the 60 was the smallest. So I told them, well, can we build anything? Can you certify something smaller? And then they said yes, but to certify a new balloon, but we need a bit of money. It's sort of like $10,000 for a new certification. But then they started to test the eco fabric, which is basically the silver polyester.
Yep.
And they wanted to test it. So, and then we realized that with this fabric, I will save fuel during the flight. So then I can even fly smaller balloon. Like basically with a normal balloon, I will go for 56 to fly solo. But then with the calculation, I said, but I will save, let's say, 30% of fuel. I can even fly a 50 racer, and I will still be able to fly 4 hours. So that was a project. The project was, okay, we can mix two projects together. I can test the new fabric in, tough conditions, flying competition, like the fabric is getting a lot of heat in that. So I started. So then we mixed the two projects, and basically we designed this balloon, and the idea was to be able to fly solo for 3.5 hours in competition. So we did some calculation with Peter Kubitschek. We found that the 50 would be good enough. So we built the 50 and with the eco fabric, and then I can fly more than 4 hours in competition. And it's the smallest balloon in the market now as a racing balloon. So and it's really good. It's an amazing balloon to fly. Curry Bloom from USA had the chance to try it last summer in Europe, and it's quite amazing. Like the reactivity is really amazing to fly. The 3D task, it's really good. So that was a project, and so we did the 50. We have the 56 as well. But that's it. And basically we changed the shape as well, because they changed the rules about the maximum vertical speed you can go in competition. It was 1,800 feet a minute, and then now it's 1,600 feet a minute. And I said, well, we don't have to reach that speed right now, so we modified. So we made the balloon a bit more round, Dolby, and
give it a little bit more lift up at the top.
Yeah, and to make it more stable. So to make it more stable, it's still able to achieve like 1,600 feet a minute up and down, but it's a bit more stable. So we modified the shape, but Curry Bloom designed the shape of the balloon. So he did that with the factory, and I did the calculation to find the best volume to fly solo. So that's a 50. We couldn't, I think, even do a bit smaller, because I can fly 4 hours. So I think we could go with maybe a 45 or something like that. But they won't do that. It's too much. It's too much money for a small market. So the 50 will be good enough.
Yeah. Not many people. I mean, you're getting into like hopper territory at that point almost.
Sorry?
Yeah, you're getting almost into like hopper territory, where like you just strap a propane tank on your back and go fly.
No, but I'm flying with 3 gas tanks, and no, I love my setup. The setup is very important to fly competition. You need to feel comfortable. I started with a 70. I was flying with 6 Worthington gas tanks, and I had to swap tanks every 20 minutes. And I just and right now I'm flying with 3 tanks, and basically 80% of the time I'm even not using the 3rd tank. So I don't have to swap tanks during the flight. It's so comfortable to fly. So it's really important.
Are you flying with because like Kubitschek has the queens and the kings, right? The small one.
So that's I have 3 queens tanks. So I think it's
okay.
18 kilos, so that won't help you. I don't know.
I think there's something like 17, I want to say, gallons, something like that.
I trust you.
Yeah.
They're a little bigger than the 15s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I actually got to talk with Corey Bloom because he flew that in the Czech Nationals, right?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Yeah, and obviously there's some video out there on Facebook of Corey, and he's doing some wild stuff with it, and he absolutely loves that balloon. So I think that 50 will be popular in the coming years.
Yeah, we built only 2 so far, but the interest is here. But most of the pilots, they are scared of the size. They all said, it's going to be too small for what I need. But that's just wrong. They're afraid to don't have enough fuel autonomy or to be too heavy. But Corey is a bit bigger than I am. I'm quite skinny, but Corey is a good bloke, and he flew 4 hours with it, so it's good.
Yeah. Now, is it the silver or is it just the actual fabric that makes the difference there?
Yeah, that's the actual fabric. They got like special coating. This fabric is based from lightweight polyester, but with 3 coating layers with aluminium things on it. Like, I have no idea. It's quite top secret. Basically, I'm testing the balloon and I give feedback, and that's it. But with that
so
balloon,
you could make it other colors other than silver, or you could make it
it's eco fabric is only silver.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because you have some aluminium stuff in it. So.
Gotcha.
But with that balloon, I flew 11 hours and 23 minutes 2 years ago, and I smashed the French endurance record. So that fabric is really good. Yeah, it saves fuel.
Awesome.
How long have you been flying that balloon now then?
Oh, I think you went on mute.
You muted.
Sorry.
Oh,
that's good.
There we go.
So I got this balloon in 2021. So I have been flying it 4 years, 3 years and a half. Yeah.
Okay.
So you got a little time into it.
So you mentioned that you started with flying with a navigator, co-pilot, or whatever. What led you away from flying with a navigator?
Well, it's very easy and simple. Basically, I was doing the World Junior, and at that time, the age limit was 27 years old, and my co-pilot was too old. So
okay.
And I just decided, I didn't want to get another co-pilot, train him. Because when I was flying with my co-pilot, we were like 2 people in one. We were thinking the same way. He knew exactly what I needed, and it takes a lot of time to get that. And I didn't want to to do that all over again with someone else for one event. And I was just like, well, I will try to do it by myself. And this is when I started to use Aussie targets, and I have to say that Aussie target helped me to fly solo, and this is when I started to to try this software, and I was in touch with Sean Kavanagh, the developer, to help him to improve the thing. And then then I did this event in solo, and I really enjoy it. Like, it's changed my way to plan the flight and everything, because when I was flying with a co-pilot, basically I was even not looking at the launch site. You know, he was doing, and I was too nervous. Like, and I was just like, just get me a launch site and let's go. And he was doing everything. He was, planning the PDG fly, and basically he was just telling me, okay, you have to go that way, and I was just flying. And when I started to fly solo, I was like, I put all my mind in the task setting, flight planning and everything, and I just really enjoy it. Like, I felt like, I can do it by myself, and it's really enjoyable. I got a lot of satisfaction out of it. You do a great flight and you plan everything, you flew the plan. So then I just decided to fly solo, and he wanted to fly competition as well, so that was the good timing to split.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't think I will ever again fly with a co-pilot. Yeah, it's and I don't think many people will accept me in a basket for 3 hours.
Yeah,
that's the reality.
well, exactly what you mentioned, where it's like that, the two people sort of being one. That's like the biggest thing that would make me hesitant to really go for it full time, is like, because then if, like you said, if you lose that person, then you're sort of losing half of your self.
Exactly. And the other thing is, to be good, you need to do a few events every year to practice. And as I said, I do 3-4 events a year. But this co-pilots, he maybe doesn't want to spend like 4 weeks holidays doing competition.
Yeah.
So so that was part of everything, and I just felt like solo, it's better, and I felt really good, and I really enjoy it. So
do you fly with a team, like other pilots, and you guys work together on like pre-launch and flight planning and things like that?
I think today that's quite the most important thing. So basically, I learned to fly with a team with François Messine and Stéphane Bolz. They are the French pilots. François was the world champion in 2008, and I crew for them. I crew for them in Battle Creek in 2012. I crew for them in other events, and they were really good at teaming together. Like, they were two balloons. It's like a co-pilot and a pilot, two people in one. That was the same thing, two teams in one. And this is when I realized the potential of this, and I started to do the same in 2012 for the first World Junior. And I'm teaming with Laure de Coligny. She's a pilot from France as well. And so basically we have been flying together for 12 years. She was not at the Worlds this year because she is pregnant, so she couldn't come. But basically all the event we do, we fly together. And it helps a lot. It lets, because you can check the other, you can, you have two minds checking even like stupid thing, PZ, time limits, that kind of things. But like really stupid things. And when you have more people into it, it's, now we have the technology to share the wind speed and direction. We don't need that anymore. We have the sound, the wind sound, so we don't need to send a pilot, up to space to tell you the wind. So basically now you can really fly together and make sure that the other balloon will have everything it needs to be good. So I have been doing that for 12 years. And at the same time, I started to do that in the French team as well. And we started in Seigeot 2016. And it was a huge work to work together. And I think it's the key of my two last flights at the Worlds. Like, they did everything to release the pressure on me and to make sure I stay first. So yeah, teaming is really important. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's more fun. You can have beers after flight.
Yeah, exactly. I think seems like the navigator, having a navigator or not having a navigator is a hot topic, and everyone has their opinion. But being on a team, it seems like everyone's like, yeah, we need to be in some sort of team or working together in some fashion.
And it saves you a bit of money, like teaming. It allows us to use the wind sound on national events that most of pilots can't afford, because you need to get a team to do that. You need the technology and everything. You can share the cost. You can share the team. So we have been doing that for years and years, and so that's good. And then you can, depending on your motivation and what you want to do, you can even share the technology research or whatever you call that. But basically, I'm also teaming with other pilots in France to improve our technology, using drones and everything. So yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
Nice. So sort of going along with the team stuff. So crew is a big part of what we do. What do you have? Do you have the crew do anything specific to help you while you're flying?
Yeah, of course. Well, they do. Of course, they do this. Some pieballs, and basically that's it when I'm flying. Because I don't talk a lot to them when I'm flying. I'm a lot in my bubble and thinking about tasks and things like that.
Yeah.
But basically, they do some pieballs during the flight, but they are really good at everything else. So they can. I have someone who is managing the logistic. Basically, I hate during a competition to decide where we're gonna have lunch or dinner or stuff like that, or what time is a general briefing. I love to have someone else thinking about it for me. So I have someone who is managing all of this, all the logistic thing. And
you have
then
2 hours to go take a nap. Go.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah. So and they're really good at doing that. But most important, I select my team to have fun. Because at the end of the day, I have been doing competition for 15 years, and it's my only holidays. All my holidays, I just do competition ballooning. So I want to have fun with them. I want to, after flight, that we can chat about something else. We can have fun. If I am a bit frustrated about the flight, they can change my mood in 2 minutes talking about something else. And it's really important for me to know that they have fun. Then I don't feel bad about people coming with me, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, going to bed at midnight, and not having fun. So it's really important to have a good team of friends, and then they will sort it out to help you, and they will want to help you because they have fun, they want to help you, and so that's good. So I always look at the atmosphere we will have, other than the skills or whatever. I don't ask them a lot. Of course, they know to do pieballs, but the rest, we can.
It's really more important, like outside of the flight stuff than during the flight stuff. Almost.
Of course, yeah, of course, yeah.
That's I totally agree with the fun part. Like, if it's not fun, then that makes it hard to do all the other stuff that we're there to do.
Yeah, and it's all my holidays, but it's all my money as well. All my savings for 15 years is going into competition. So at least you want to have fun, and I think that's the reason why I'm still doing it. Otherwise, you just, at some point, you got too much frustration and you stop doing that. So I always, as I said, I always select my crews to have the best atmosphere, having fun together, and then the result will come at some point.
How many people do you like, or I guess what's your preference on like count of crew? Like, how many people do you want for the crew?
Pilot plus 3 crews is really good. Yeah, I can do pilot plus 2, but it's a little bit more. Yeah, it's a bit more tricky. So I love pilot plus 3. I love pilots plus 3.
Little bit more people just to
Yeah,
spread.
I mean, pilot plus 3, I can do planning stuff while we're inflating. If you
Yeah.
are pilot plus 2, you need to help for the inflation, so you cannot think about declaring stuff. So yeah, I love pilot plus 3.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number.
Yeah, I definitely don't like going too much above that, because then it's like now you're managing people too much rather than like just
Yeah,
the
and then you don't have a lot of room in a car. It's
Yes.
it's annoying.
You guys, y'all are over in Europe are typically flying in like the vans or trailers and stuff like that, right? So
yeah.
do you prefer the van mode or pulling a trailer?
I'm a big fan of the van. Yeah,
Okay.
It's so good. You have no idea. It's so good. Like the van. So all my balloon is on the back of the van, and I still got 6 seats. And when we travel Europe, I can stop. Let's say Budapest. I can stop 2 days. I just park this in the city, and I can just enjoy the city. And you don't have to worry about having a trailer. And every time, it makes me laughing when pilots ask, "Oh, is it gonna be rainy tonight?" To know if they need to cover the basket and everything on the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that. It's on the back of the vehicle. I don't care. And the thing is, we still set up our balloon faster than pilots with a trailer, because it's all well set up. Like, it's so quick, and I don't have to strap my basket or something. We open the door, get the thing out. It's so quick.
Are you flying? Are you still setting up all the poles and everything? Or are you just flying with loose poles?
Yeah. I'm setting the poles. Yeah.
Okay.
It takes. It's really quick.
Set up a camera. I'm interested to see what you do.
Yeah. yeah. I might fly without poles next year.
Yeah.
To have the camera.
Like I know that's what a lot of folks do, because they're with the vans. It's like they'll just have the no poles, and so then they just fly with helmets and stuff. So
yeah, and it makes things harder, when you inflate, the burner frame is not holding nicely. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I know a few Americans are doing that. I think. Red is doing it. Joe Zveda as well is doing that. Well, I'm not even.
I think most Americans, at least this world's, were flying with no poles. There's a couple of guys that had they found trucks, so they had the full basket set up in the back of the truck. But in Europe, that's hard to find. So
the thing is, in Europe, we don't have the Tommy gate, the lift.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We don't have that in Europe, so that means we cannot really use a truck to put it on the back. So it's either you got a van or a trailer. I think in Europe it's mostly trailer. But again, it's annoying. And if you have to make a U-turn, in a country somewhere, you are really happy to have a van.
I went over and I helped Joe Zveda in Austria earlier this year, and we had a trailer, and I was like, how do people do this? This is just madness.
Yeah. I'm not a trailer fan.
Yeah, there's quite a few trailers at Worlds. I was surprised at how many trailers were actually there.
Yeah. European pilots are really into trailer. Like, they got most of them have a trailer.
Yeah.
Have you done much flying over like in the States, or mostly just like Europe?
No, I haven't done much in the States. I did a flight in Battle Creek in 2012 after the Worlds. The pilots gave me the balloon for one flight, and I think that I flew when I was younger. I was 10 years old. I flew in Quebec and in somewhere north of America, but I was 10 years old. I don't remember much about it. But I wish to do. I'm actually looking to do the US Nationals next year in Longview. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I asked Curry to try and see if he can squeeze me in. So we will see. Yeah, because I think the National Classic is in end of July, I think, and I just can't make it. We have the Europeans in August. We'll have the French nationals in August, and I just can't make it. End of July is going to be a bit tricky. So I wish to do hopefully next year Longview. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Awesome.
hopefully we'll see you then in Longview then. Let's see. You got anything else, Patrick?
So you fly big balloons. Are you full-time flying big balloons or?
Yes. Yeah. So my full-time job is commercial pilot. So I used to fly, like, by big balloon, I mean 20, 24 passengers balloon in Australia for Matthew Scaife in Sydney. I used to do that 4 years, and then I was flying in Melbourne, but that was a 10 passengers balloon. And in France, I was flying a 16 passengers basket, and now I'm flying in the Alps. That's my back screen. But we fly only seven passengers basket because it's really tricky. You need to get the equipment out. You can't have anything heavy, so we just fly 180 or 210. That's the size of the balloon, and it's 7-8 passengers maximum.
Wow.
So yeah, so I used to fly much bigger, but now I'm flying only medium-sized balloon.
Yeah. Oh, 210, medium size. Do you find switching back and forth between the 180, 210 to the 50? Do you think that's tricky at all?
No. Well, if you flew, if you're flying a big balloon and the next day you fly the 50, it's really easy. It's like going from a bus to a bicycle. It's very the thing is so light, small, reactive. It's way easy. The other way can be a bit more difficult, but with the experience, it takes 15 minutes to get back into it. But yeah, most of the time when I'm flying the 50 after flying in Australia, I was flying it's a 425, and you overburn a lot at the beginning. Yeah. But it's a small racer, so you just open the vent and 3 seconds later you go back down. So that's okay.
Not a big deal.
It's not a big deal, and actually when I started to fly bigger balloon, so it was 11 years ago. Yeah, 11 years ago, I started to fly a bit commercially, and I flew a 210, and my skill really improved. You fly big balloons a bit, so I was flying that 50 times a year. And then when you fly your racing balloon, right, it's just because when you have a big balloon, when you want to approach landing site, you cannot readjust. It's one shot. This thing is too high. It's so in Australia, I was flying a 425 and I was targeting the same landing site every day. It's an airfield, and basically it's one shot. You drop down from 4,000 feet, and you can't really readjust anything. You just go once. So
you hit the line or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. So flying big balloons will help you to when you go back on a small balloon, it's really easy. You can readjust, sometimes too much, but yeah. But I remember the first year I flew commercially a bit bigger balloon. It was in 2013, and this is when I did my first podium at the French nationals and Czech nationals as well. So I saw the difference straight away. Yeah.
Nice.
I would imagine flying in the Alps probably helps with competition because you're probably navigating. There's probably a few landing spots. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, I mean, it's I was flying in Melbourne City before, and it's really tricky as well because you are flying over a major city. You have the air traffic control. You've got the international airport around. But it's another difficulty. In the Alps, I can land anyway with a road nearby to get the passengers back home. But yeah, it's different. In the Alps, you have to deal a lot with light and variable wind. Basically, where I'm flying, the first 3,000 feet, it's unpredictable, and you can have any direction below, let's say, 3 knots, and basically I'm playing with that to stay in the middle of the valley. So basically, the first 3,000 feet, it's all like variable. We call that aquarium. It's like an aquarium. It's like a fish, and you can go
like a fishbowl.
you can go anywhere in that. And above that, it's the upper wind, and then depending on the speed and direction, you can go higher than that or not. But yeah, the Alps is really good to be patient and to use but this light and variables wind, and I think that increase my skill on that. But Melbourne City, it's different. It's not that light and variable, but the flight planning is so crazy. You need to plan your flight before you take off. You need to call the air traffic control. You have a city to fly over. You don't have many landing options. You have the sea around. Yeah, and it's and you have to land on ovals. You have to land it's a 250, and you have to land that on an ovals, like it's 100 meters by 60 meters. So it's it's more targeting. You do some target flying. In the Alps, I don't do target flying, but it's so it's another challenge. And I think the key to improve your skill is to fly different locations, because different locations have their own difficulty, and you will improve that. So yeah, but the Alps is great. But it's really nice. You should fly the Alps.
Yeah.
It's
looks like a really pretty flying area.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome.
So like, right, you're now world champion. There's not really much higher to go for competitive ballooning, but do you still have any like major goals that you want to hit within ballooning?
Yes, and I had to think about it, because basically in my mind, as I said, I was not expecting to be a world champion this year. I was not thinking about doing something else. I was just,
winning really ruined the plans.
Yeah, I was just, okay, I will do that for another 10 years, trying to do, top 10, top 5, and then I will be tired of it. I will think about something else. But no, I have to think about something else. Well, the thing is, I don't want to have a main goal, because then you can get a bit crazy if you don't reach that goal. And as I said, this is what happened with the world champion title. I didn't aim for that. And I don't want to be in that thing like, oh, I want to be, let's say, a European champion, because of course I would be happy to have this title as well. Some pilots like Stefan, they have been both European champion, world champion, and I think that's great. That's the biggest thing you can do. So of course I would be happy to have it, but I don't want to to put all my efforts, all my whatever expectation on that. I will do my best as every competition I do, and if I got luck like I had for the Worlds, maybe I will be a European champion, maybe not. It's not a goal, but I would be happy to have this. But I would love to start gas ballooning, to do the Gordon Bennett. That's something I would love to do in the next, let's say, 10 years. Because the thing is, I know that I will get tired. Maybe not, but I think I will get tired of hot air balloon competition. So I'm starting to get into gas ballooning, but very slowly, step by step, because I don't have much time. I know I cannot do both. I cannot do like hot air competition and gas ballooning competition. I can't do both. I don't have the money. I don't have the time for that. But I know that it takes a lot of time to understand gas ballooning and understand the strategy for the Gordon Bennett and everything. So I want to go into it step by step. If I have a week next year to spend with the gas ballooning team, I will do it, and I will do that the next 10 years. And I think that will be the transition. And I think I would love to be an event director as well. Like, I got a lot of frustration as a pilot about the task settings, and and I think one day I will just want to create my own crazy task.
Yeah, you get to be the one telling them what to do and having them get pissed off at you.
Yeah. I want to be on the other side of the table and having all the stupid questions and yeah. But so it's not really a dream or goal, but this is what probably happened. I mean, my goal in my life is to do ballooning every day. This is what makes me happy, and it doesn't really matter if it's competition or gas ballooning but I want, I know that I love ballooning and this is what I want to do. So I wish to do more competition in other countries. I have done a few, but I would love to do the States, but I would love to do Brazil as well. I know they have like a massive competition community. And it looks amazing. So I really want to do Brazil. I would love to go back to Japan as well. I did Seigeot in 2016. That was great. So I think I would love to do that. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Saga's top of my list right now. I want to get there at some point.
Yeah. You should do it. Yeah. Do it.
Yeah. So like it talked about sort of just transitions and everything, but how do you feel like competition has changed since you've been doing it? What do you think how do you think it's going to change going in the future?
Well, I think it has changed. That's for sure. I started my first competition. It was in 2009. I was 18 years old, and I started with a paper map. I didn't have a computer, and I just had like a Garmin eTrex, whatever, the small GPS. And and I realized that was not enough. So then I started to get into navigation software and everything. And I started with observers. We don't have observers anymore. It's good for some things. It's bad for some other things. I think we all know about it. It's quite sad for the fly-on because and pilot declare goal. We don't throw baggies anymore, or less baggies anymore. We don't throw baggies anymore on that kind of stuff.
You muted.
Yeah, you weird. Anyway, so that's a shame with But the other thing is it allows to reduce the cost for the organizer, and that's a reality, and that's a reality right now we are facing, because last year we didn't have any host for the European Championship because they didn't find any city to host the event because it's more and more expensive. They have less and less money, and observers in category 1 event is like it's 120 observers that you have to feed, accommodate and everything. So of course it's important that now we are using the BLS or the logger, whatever, and it allows to reduce the cost. It allows you to train at home as well, which is quite good. And I feel more painful the way they are changing the rules about safety. I feel they started to. I remember 10 years ago we didn't have any vertical speed limit, so that makes sense. We have no vertical speed limit because pilots were doing crazy things. Okay, but then they reduced that limit to 1,600 feet a minute, which is acceptable. It's okay. And now we had in France this year a competition. It was like 1,200 feet a minute, and I was like, and then now we have the I don't know. They set up a respectful flying score, something like that. I don't know how they call that. Which I agree, it makes sense, but I do not understand why they do it, because we didn't have any major accident the last 10 years in competition. So I'm always grumpy when I see new rules, because
Yeah.
it means, because to me it's like I feel they think we are dangerous pilots. So I don't know, and it's it's frustrating. So hopefully we don't go too much into that safety thing.
Yeah.
We are still racing. It's like in Formula One. If you go only at 200 k's an hour in straight line, it's not interesting anymore. So
Right.
um,
It is sort of it's an inherently dangerous activity. So like we can
yeah,
limit it, but if we do
that's
it too much,
correct.
then
And well, we still have accident, and but it's not happening every day and not every year, particularly in competition. So yeah, but yeah, and the other thing is, I wish we do more traveling for the worlds. Let's say, it's been a while. It has been in Eastern Europe for a few years now. So I really wish at some point we will go back. I don't know, overseas, States maybe, Japan or wherever, Australia or no, Dubai. Dubai was really nice.
I've
Yeah.
heard a lot of good things about the Dubai, like the World Air Games flights and everything. Those sound like a blast.
I think it was the best event, like the best competition event that people ever had. Yeah, it was good.
Nice. What I guess if someone was interested, looking to get into competition ballooning, how would you suggest what sort of steps would you suggest they take?
Can you say that again, please?
If someone was interested to get into competitive ballooning, what sort of path would you
Advice?
recommend for it? Yeah, what advice would you give?
Yeah, well, the first one would be never give up, because I know at the beginning it's really frustrating. You do your first competition, you will get a little points going over the target, and you will lose a lot of points doing like flying in PZ or doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I know that like the start is really, like, it can be really frustrating. Like it can take you a few years before you get really into it, you understand the rule, and you can achieve quite good results. So never give up. That's the thing. And I always, when I started competition, I always write down what I need to be better. And it was like anything, like, I don't know, having another crew, another vehicle. Like I'm having a trailer, I hate that. It would be better to have a van, having a
Yep.
van. And it's the same for, I don't know, like technology. Well, I need something to measure the wind. Okay, what do we have on the market? We have the theodolite. What was the previous one? No, we have the Windson. Soon we'll have the drone. You can write it down, and then you can invest your time on money on what you need to be better. And I think I have done that for the last 15 years, and still today we are thinking, and I'm thinking, and I'm sharing that with the other French team. What do we need to be better? And trying to do I need to practice more? Okay, let's practice more. And then I think it's all about your motivation that will give you the energy to do that. But yeah, practice. Practice is a key. Knowing the rule, as I said, you can lose a lot of points by not knowing the rules. So read the rules. I remember again.
Yep.
I remember 15 years ago, before my first competition, I sit down with another French pilot at the pub. He got the rules, and for 3 hours he tried to explain me. You need to read that, and he was in my bedroom for a month, and I was reading that every night, because I knew that was a key. I need to understand what they expect me to do within the
Yep.
rules, not losing points. And yeah, my last advice would be to have fun. If you don't have fun, you won't do it again. So don't forget to have fun.
Nice. Well, I think having fun is a good place to to end it then, I guess, because we're right at about an hour. You got anything else, Patrick, that you want to? Or
I
Clem,
don't, but
Clem, you got anything else you want to say that we haven't covered?
I think I'm reading a bit the question we prepared, but
we can keep
what's
going if
one
you want to
piece?
keep going too.
Well, what is the question? What's one piece of equipment you would never fly without? Okay, well, my computer, like mate.
Well, yeah, like very, yeah.
How you maybe? Yeah, no, there is no way. I mean, in competition, this is what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If you are flying competition, don't forget your logger, because you won't score any point if you don't have this. But then obviously, I don't really need the variometer or altimeter. I don't need that. But the computer, you need the baggies as well. You can still press the button on the logger and you still got results. And you can throw something else than baggies as well. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
Take off your shoes, socks.
Gloves, whatever. and by the way, I always have spare baggies in my basket in case I forget mine, in case I drop mine by mistake. It already happened during a flight. I took a baggies, and I grabbed another one as well, and I threw it away over the basket. And then you're still able to use one. It will be considered as a modified marker. The penalty is not that bad, but still you can do something nice. Yeah.
Better than no points.
Yeah. But one piece of equipment I would never fly without is the computer. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Good deal.
It's almost impossible to fly at a national or above level without a computer. It's just and expect to do moderately well.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, thanks for jumping on with us, Clem. We'd love to have you again sometime. Talk something else, more detail on a task sheet or something like that, or how you approach things in a target or anything else. But yeah, thanks for jumping on with us.
Pleasure. And if someone can have me a spot for the US Nationals in Longview, please reach me out.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for having me. Hopefully people watching that will enjoy it.